Welcome, everybody, to Circle Back to You with James Hagler, boxing promoter. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, what's up, man?
All right. So, Brad, today we're going to talk about what is the difference between quitting and giving up.
They can be one and the same, but then again, it's different. I think that when you quit something, doesn't necessarily mean that you're finished with it. You know what I mean? Like more I can give you example. That's like me. I give you example. I'll talk about myself. When I stopped boxing, I didn't quit boxing. I just quit fighting. There was no more boxing, no more competing for me. So I transitioned into being a boxing promoter. I transitioned to managing fighters. So, I didn't really quit. So that what quitting means to me. It just means that you just want a different path in the same area, if that makes sense. In the same sport, I guess. But giving up, meaning when you give up, you're done with it. You're not going to transition to any aspect of that particular sport or whatever you quit, like a job. Once you give up on that job, and that's it, you're not going back to cooking anymore. You're done with that. You're finished. But when you quit something, or maybe you quit this job, this cooking job, because you didn't get enough money, so you went to the next cooking job. So you didn't give up. I mean, you didn't give up on cooking. Is what I'm saying. You just transitioned into cooking, and there's in another area of cooking or another cooking job. But when you give up on something, that means you're done. That's it means you just laid down. That's it. You don't want none of it. It basically means you're retired. You know what I mean? So, I don't know anybody that's, retired from working in a factory and then all of a sudden says, hey, you know what? I'm gonna come out of retirement and work in the factory again. I mean, once you're done with it, that's it. So I think it's a thin line between quitting and giving up. So it's like I said, very thin line.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to get a little personal if you don't mind, but a lot of people want to know the answer to this question concerning Marvelous Marvin Hagler, your dad. When he had that last fight with Sugar Ray Leonard, a lot of people felt like he gave up on the sport of boxing. But did he quit or did he give up? What's your opinion about that?
Well, the sport wouldn't let him give up because he wanted to. He was done with boxing. After that Ray fight, he was finished. He didn't want nothing to do with boxing. He didn't want to do no appearances, guest appearance, anything. He didn't. He just didn't want anything to do with boxing. I remember him telling that to me, being very briefly with me about it. When I was asking him to help me box, he said, I'm done with the sport. I don't want nothing to do with it. He said, the only thing I do is I make appearances. I work for boxing. That's it. I don't want nothing to do. I mean, he was very upset when he was telling me this. So I was like, okay. And it was true because he highly wanted to make appearances. The only thing that he wanted to do with boxing was watch it and go to the Boxing Hall of Fame. And that was it. That was all he wanted to do. It was not nothing else. Anything else he was doing, he kind of felt like he owed it. I guess he felt like obligated, and that's why you've seen him around a little bit. But other than that, that's he. I would say he gave up on boxing. I would say he was finished with it. It left an ugly taste in his mouth as far as the fight was concerned. And he just wanted to. I mean, I'll tell you like this: if he could just walk away from that sport for good and never show up anywhere, make any appearances, he would do that. If he could ghost the sport, he would have done that. Trust me, you wouldn't have never seen Marvelous if he could have done that. But I think he felt like he owed it to his fans to come around from time to time. So maybe that's why he went to the Boxing Hall of Fame all the time. He enjoyed being there with the fighters and watching some of these other fighters getting inducted, and that was one of his enjoyments. And that's what he did. He looked forward to going to Canastota every summer. So other than that, I don't think he was really too much interested in. But he liked to watch it though. He started watching it again. Probably I had to say late '90s. He started watching. He started really paying more attention to it because there was a time where we was in New Hampshire and I would talk to him about boxing, and he would say, "I'm not talking about boxing. I don't even watch it." And then there was a time when he's, oh, I just now getting into watching. I think it was around Vernon Forrest when he won the title. When Vernon won a title, he was starting to watch boxing a little more. you know, and then after that, he just kept on. He started keeping up with it, and I guess he was getting back into it. I would say.
Oh, that's interesting, man. What was his opinion about Mike Tyson as a fighter?
Oh, he loved Mike Tyson as a fighter. He loved Mike as a fighter. He liked everything he stood for, as far as it came to boxing. And you know, and I remember we were supposed to get Mike Tyson to come to our house because we both had pigeons. Mike had pigeons and we had pigeons. So Dad was like, "We're gonna get Mike to come to the house, and we're just gonna talk about pigeons. We're not gonna talk about fighting. We're not gonna talk about nothing." But it was difficult to get him at that time because he was going through all that issues with Robin Givens. And my dad, I remember, you know, weeks after or months after, I said, "Dad, well, what about Mike? We still getting Mike?" He was like, he said, "I couldn't get in touch with him, Mom." He said, "Right now, Mike's going through too much." And I think his opinion at that time about Mike and his situation, he was just saying, he said, you know, he said, Mike needs a father figure. That's what he really needs right now. And he's not getting it. So, and after that, that was the last that we ever, you know, that we talked about Mike coming to the house. And I can't wait to run into him so I could tell him the story. I got a good story to tell him. And I think he'd get kicked out of it.
Awesome, brother, man. Thank you so much for being on the show again. Ladies and gentlemen, James Hagler. We will be back next week. Take care.
Thank you.